fact, I'm leaning towards the opposite. Okay, it's 10 o'clock, and the date is November 1st. Tomorrow's election day, and I thought I'd turn this one out before then, otherwise I might be really upset. I'm using 3ds Max 7 now, if you can't realize by this little number 7 up here, and I did this because it just came out a few days ago, and as it turns out, luck would have it, the 3ds M6 SMD exporter works just fine with this. I've tested it and it works great. So I thought I may as well do it with 7 for those of you who watch this in the future and you're on above 6. Oh. I also went up back in here and changed this, God, it's been a while now. Somewhere in there's freaking preferences. In fact, I'm probably looking at it right now, but I can't see it. Oh, it's in here, isn't it? Yeah, I went in here and changed the interpolation. I did that last time too, but I just showed you it again, that way you can see it. Okay, I need to do this quick. I have an hour to do this, or else I'm going to be in trouble with a person of higher authority than I can name. Let's get started. First of all, we're going to have to link this this thing here to this arm here. And I'm just going to assume, you know, that you watched the other ones so that you know all the other things I'm doing here and you won't be too confused. And you should be just fine. I haven't actually checked the time that I need to be doing this under because frankly I don't care. It's more of a hindrance than it is anything else. You can fix that later. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about right now, the mod I'm doing this for has an allocated time set for each animation, and for this particular replacement, I don't know what it is. And I think I'm going to do it that way on purpose, but I can tell you we're going to need a lot more than 30 frames. Why don't we start with getting it under 90? At 30 frames per second, that's pretty decent. In fact, let me think this through. Yeah, it seems, if I remember, it's about 3 seconds, something like that. Anyway, let's do this quick, because I don't got time. What I said last time about the 3 keyframe rule. Let me change this here. Oh, God. It wasn't entirely inaccurate, but in a way, it wasn't entirely helpful to say it. More importantly, instead of 3 keyframes going in some kind of a little magic triangle, each keyframe is pretty much heavily affected by its previous, almost more than the actual keyframe itself. So keep that in mind while we're doing this, and we're going to be studying and everything else appropriately, and we all should be fine and dandy, and we'll make it through this without too many events of me cracking wise and wasting time like I'm doing right now. Okay. Get this situated here. I like to do things differently than a lot of other people. Since there's not many people who animate anyway, it's hard to find out exactly what one of the better ways to do things is grammar there. What I like to do is always use your camera perspective. Always. It's what you're primarily concerned with. After all, it's what everyone's going to be seeing. So that's really good to keep in mind. Haven't exactly thought this all the way through yet. In fact, I really barely thought it through at all. But I think that's going to be more of a helpful thing than it is a hurting thing here. What I'm doing here, and I'll get through this, that may be too extreme actually. Let me check this through. Like that. Okay. A little floaty tonight. I'm in a good, confident mood. What we're doing here basically is setting it up so this right hand here can come and reach and just pull this out right here. This is a magazine for those of you who have any idea what a gun is and how to operate one. I don't. But I picked up the lingo by being scolded so many times by Nazis who apparently think the only important thing in the world is that you've got your gun logic right. You wouldn't be able to guess my political party by what I just said. That may be too extreme. I've always got a... I guess not. I could set it as 9. In fact, I like that a little better. I've already said this. What this in between here is, what's the word I'm thinking for? The terminology here, it always escapes me because I don't use it. Probably because I don't know it all the way. But what this is in between. See, basically what you want to do is get from A to B. A is 0, B is 10. But if you go straight through like this, it's not very exciting, is it? Some of you may argue that it is. Those of you are not me. Why don't you throw an in-between always if you can, just to fix it up. It emphasizes more if you're leaning in the opposite way that you want to get to, in the middle of you getting from A to B. If that makes any sense at all, you can all raise your hand and I'll use my magic eyes to see you. For most of you that it doesn't, hopefully by me doing this many times, you'll catch on to this thing, how it works, how to exactly animate like this, and you'll be my roommate is playing good songs over there. It's okay, you can turn it on, I don't mind. I'm doing this at my leisure. I don't think I'm going to get killed if somebody out there doesn't like this thing. They're not doing it, I am. You can do whatever you like. You're going to what? Defecate. That's a good one. Alright. He's going to defecate. Thank God for that. Alright. We can take this out a number of ways here. Why don't we do it the way most people don't? That's always the best. Don't worry about the arm breaking here in 1,000 places, and we'll fix that later. Let me make sure it doesn't go nuts when it turns groovy. If you've noticed, and I should have pointed this out, but I didn't, the wrist controller here is linked to this body bone. Therefore, do you notice how it's this is 0? Let me just say to the hand. It's its own little world. It doesn't, when the gun moves, this moves, and it changes all of the brazier locations and all them doodads and floats and jizzy jams or whatever word you want to put in there to make it sound fancy. That's all I'm doing is that. But yeah, oh, well, I guess you already know that. This rig is so ghetto. I like it because it's ghetto, but I guess I'll put a zip file or something up there on the internet that everyone can download these little rigs I'm using and have fun with them. Great fun. Or I challenge you to make your own. Maybe I should make one of these little tutorials for that. You can make your own rig. After seeing this one, you wouldn't want to get advice from me on that, though, would you? Alright, now if you recall here, what was that magic number we did? Oh man, it was negative 47, I think. Bah! It worked. Rock on. You see how helpful that was? Instead of individually rotating each and every little finger out there to snatch this little magazine up, you had to type in a measly negative 47 and you're good to go, you're set, you're ready to rock on and wrap that thing around there. This is by no means exact or finalized. The in-betweens actually are going to be set up a little differently later. The joy of using this setup with the gun bone here like this is that you can change so many things by just changing one thing. See, if you want to be able to see that arm more, all you gotta do is move this up there, and we'll dink around with that later if we've got time. If not, I really want to make this the last VTM because people are getting all over me to release this stupid thing, and I'm thinking about just giving it to them. Not that there's some kind of a level of quality that I adhere to, because I don't. When I'm done, it's done, and that's it. I don't get paid for doing this crap, and I like to put a little bit of pride in my work, but too much pride takes too much time. Okay, we're going to make this so simple. It's going to be so simplified. Use the gray one on this here. I think I will. I'm trying to think what I want to do with this stupid thumb. Good for nothing thumb. What's it ever done for us? Man, I'm getting really too perfect with this. Getting too nitpicky. Doesn't need to be perfect because we don't have a million hours to do this thing. And, I wish I would have kept track prior to doing this of how long I normally take whenever I animate something. I don't know. I'm hoping I can get this done in an hour. I'm confident that I can. If it means I have to cut a few corners, all the better, because I get done quicker. I really don't want to make another one of these. Nothing against you guys. If anyone's even watching this. Ooh, have to get prissy with these things. Has to be perfect. Has to be wonderful. Come on. Yeah, this is my first time using Max 7. Not that that's in any way setting me up for an excuse of some kind. It's just saying that, I don't know. How fancy is that? It's like we're learning this together. Except for that, it's the exact same thing as the other one. I haven't checked out Character Studio yet, for those of you who care or know what that is. It's supposed to be a little better, or a lot better. I haven't messed with it yet. Maybe I'll make a VTM for character animation. That would be a lot more fun. In fact, I think I mentioned that in one of these other things. I don't even remember what it is. It's been forever since I actually did any of this stuff. Okay. Straighten this thing up. Really matters where this thing goes. And it may look a little bit confusing here. You may be thinking, what is this idiot doing? It's okay. I made these crappy rigs. I like to think I have some kind of a grip on them and how they work. There you go. That's good enough. Good enough is my, it's more of my catchphrase when I'm doing these things. In fact, look, we can cut so much time on here. I wouldn't normally do this, but using the rule, let's put this to the test, that keyframes are affected by their previous ones. Why don't we just set this one at this, the 15 default, which would make it 10. It's the exact same as 10. I'm sure you get that. Do you like this, the interpolation I use up here? God, I don't even remember the name. What's wrong with me today? Like that free recoil. It's called free because you don't have to work it. You don't have to do it yourself. It's free. It does it for you. That's always a good thing. One mistake that I happen to make personally all the time, some of you newer people may be doing it as well, is that I like to micromanage a bit too much sometimes, and it's never a good thing. Now, sometimes, if you want to take a little bit of time in something, and you want to just take it slow and get everything perfect, that's okay. But that's not how I do things here. It'll come back to haunt you later, because the more time that you finish tweaking these small, unimportant things, the more the big picture goes by. The animation as a whole is far more important than each individual keyframe. Therefore, I'd like to suggest to you, and this is hard to avoid sometimes, that you do not go back and edit your animations until you're done with the whole stupid thing. And you can go back, you can look at it, you can change the individual keyframes because you know how each and every one of them is affected by its previous. That way, you do end up saving yourself a lot of time. You come up with a better animation all the time, and that's true for everything. What the crack's going on here? Man, that's a long-winded speech to basically tell you to don't worry if it looks weird the first time you're playing it through. Finish the whole thing before you find stuff to nitpick. You'll be a lot happier. Look at this. I like that rig. Yeah. See how I'm nitpicking with this thing? How much time I'm wasting with it? Ooh, Nick, you breaking your own rule. Yeah, I am. That's an unrealistic position there. In fact, I'd say it wasn't possible. That one is too, but it looks a little better for now. Let's get this moving. I don't have a million hours, and I already said that too. We can stud this here for now, and we'll take it out later. No, you like that? What the heck is that? There's a Max 7 thing here? Maybe it's just this crappy 800 by 600 resolution. Anyway. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. I had linked, as I said before, this hand to the body bone here. Why don't I delete that link and I link it to the gun instead? I could have done it at the right spot, but I didn't feel like it. As you can tell here, it's off. You can see now that sometimes proper planning is a good thing. Only sometimes, though. Not all the time. Sometimes if you plan too much, you come up with something way too good. Okay, 16. Let's put this at 15. Right. Now we can add it on this magazine. Oh, the clip. That's right. You always got to set a 0 for everything else you want to move on this thing. You don't have to stud this necessarily, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, now let's doesn't necessarily have to be that time, but let's go to the front here. It's always dandy. Move at 16. Why don't we pull it out real slow, like? Yeah, I don't think I've seen many people do that. And we could have a breakout. I think that would be particularly neat. See how that's going there? It's look a lot here to begin with. 1, 2. Switch that up. It's a bit hard to manage these things when they're so small. Yeah, you like that arm movement there. I'm going to fix that right now. Huh, what do you know, when I was fixing it before, it was on the wrong keyframe. That's another good thing that it's always helpful to take note of, make sure you're not doing. Hopefully you know what I said, because I really don't want to say it again and repeat it, because I'm just going to sound like a bumbling idiot, because I'm trying to concentrate now. If you can do that while you're doing this junk. Don't let me make it sound like this is some kind of a dignified thing that, oh, so-and-so is animating. Why, without him, we'd be lost. He is at work. He's a master of the craft, and he's doing what he does. Let's watch him and learn. I'm nothing of the sort. In fact, I would like to think that after this is done, finally, now that other people get a grip on animating, there's going to be a lot more people who are way better than me come out and start doing this thing. Why don't I undo the movement of that? Did that work? Okay. It's a little bit unsteady here, and I don't like that. Can't tell if that's 11 or 12. Okay. Basically, I got a better idea here. If I'm going to move this by the front, I can do the same to this. Ooh, how good. How steady is your hand when you do this stuff? Never do that. As you can see, it doesn't work. See, there's so many different ways you could have the gun react to this thing. You could do it 1,000 different ways. Each way is different. Each way may look better to some people, but hey, they're all comparable, I guess. I'm going to put a stall on this pull out here before I continue. I like to do these stalls after I get the basic movement in there, and that's probably the wrong way to do it. Probably that's why I do it that way. Unknowingly, of course. I would never knowingly do something wrong like that. So why don't you have 16 to 20? We'll have the same here. Notice this here. There we are. 16 to 20. This pull-out's getting yanked at... It's always nice to sync these up. 23 is the reaction end. Where's this stupid hand? I got it at 24 here. Why don't I move to 23? Now we can make it more jumpy and downwardish. Downwardish. It'll also definitely help to pull this up if you can do that. Otherwise you can't change that it's going anywhere. Do you notice that? Watch this change here. That's a big one. Gonna make this dangle down here with this. Ooh, I feel sick. That's looking jumpy. It's gotta be the magazine's fault. Blame it on that. Here's your problem. Where does this stupid thing go? Sorry, I'm so unorganized today. 16, and then 20 to 23. 16. That's 20 to 23. That's the pull out. Why don't we delete that in between there? Had an extra Again, I'm trying to micromanage here, and that's not a good thing. Why don't we just set that up and get some free recoil? Oh, I'm fudging on this big time. I am cutting corners all over the place. It's not going to be exactly a polished thing here. It's really not looking like it. As you can tell here, we're going to have to move this down if we want some free recoil going back. Okay. Throw an in-between in there. Closer to the previous keyframe, it'll slow it down a little, or it'll make it jumpy like that. Sometimes I'm wrong. Why don't we leave this the way it is for now and move on? As you can tell here, this is still obviously attached to that gun in there. Since this is going off screen, you really won't notice that. I'm going to set this up here, set this up there. When do you want this back in is the question you need to ask yourself now. Let's check where the leading keyframe is at. It's in this hand. It's down at 37. Why don't we have it come in at 40? It's a nice even number to remember. That's good enough for now. Back at 39. We'll just have it come in here. Now, watch this. It's going to be tough to do this. No, it's not. Just hit it on 0. Do you like that? Notice, you would think, as I was talking about before, how this is its own world when it's parented as something here. You would think that 0, maybe you would think this, that it would bring it back to the rotation being 90, 0, and 0 in there. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, bummer. Okay, well, but it's not. Now, if you actually check the rotation, there's all these crazy numbers down here, but it's still 0. It's still, in the mind of this thing, it's still 90, 0, 0 because it's parented to this. Do you understand now what I mean by this being its well, they don't call it its parent bone for nothing. Dictates exactly where this whole thing is going to go. That's a bad angle. Put this back in. Since this is at 0, we don't have to worry about upsetting some kind of a special rotation. I guess we'll get to that later. We can rotate this any way we want, and it's always going to be at 0. But for fun's sake, let's get that out of there all the way. As you can see this down here. Ha! That's a good one. Hey, we'll fix that later. There's always time. Most importantly, what we need to do here is set up the next most important action in this entire animation, which is going to be the bolt pull for this thing here. You know what? Screw conventional wisdom. I'm going to do this a different way than I've done before. I've seen anyone else do it. Since bolt, this thing is properly mirrored, the bolt's going to be on the other side of this thing, so no one's going to know if it's 0 position here. Let's set the default at negative 47. That's always nice to do. And let's move this back for the entire start, but not all the way. We could do it all the way, but that would kind of hurt what I wanted to do with this thing. Now the bolt's pulled back. Nobody understands exactly what's going to happen, since hopefully they've never seen something like this before. Now, the magazine's in. You need to create some recoil before going back in. Or you couldn't. Actually, you know, when I'm saying these things, this is just... Hey, you don't have to do any of this crap, Tony. This is mostly just suggestions. You're seeing how I do this. You may or may not like that. I don't like this rotation here. In fact, I think I might have to change the interpolation between these, because this is one of the negatives of using this. Or I could get prissy and I could go back and stud all these stupid things. I don't want you to think of it as a hindrance though, because then you may be weary to use it. Hopefully now it'll be a little bit more friendly. Whenever you add movement and rotation to something, it gets a little sneaky. Sometimes it likes to throw tricks at you. Like this right here. You can see this whole thing feels like jello. It's got no razors to its edges, if that makes any sense at all. Hopefully I don't sound like a bumbling loon talking about animation like it's some kind of a god. But let's just be honest here. So far, it's not looking the way I like it. But micromanaging ain't a good thing to do. In fact, I'm tempted to change this in between here, but I really don't want to. But let's do it for fun. Hope I mentioned this before, how to do this. Let's just do it for fun here and see if I can get a different response. Yeah, looks like it's going to be ruled by its previous the whole way through. I'm just going to set all these just because I don't want to mess with it. The angle it's going in at is also not helping it here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Now we set this here, it'll be easy. There we go, that's perfect. For now, at least. You can always go back and fix this later again for the 1000th time. What is this, 45? All the way to 48, that's way too slow. There we go. And that's too slow. Good, back on 50, that's a nice number to be on. Not that going by 5s and saying oh so linear is a magic thing, but hey, if it helps you out and helps you get your math in your head so you know where everything is without having to click on every leading keyframe you have just to find out what you're doing, go for it. You're definitely going to need to fix this arm up later, but later is not now. In fact, I can't really see. Maybe it's just my resolution. I'm in here. Normally there's a little box that comes over your thing when it's keyframed on here. Ah, there it is. Okay, 16 is the last one. That's looking ghetto. It clips right through. We'll fix that later. 50. The hand moves, something bad happened. It's not. That's good. The arm does, but again we'll fix that later. We have time to deal with every problem, hopefully. It's already been a half hour. Well, we're 50% through these keyframes, but that doesn't mean we're going to get done. In fact, I might just have to fudge this whole thing. 53. Oh, we're going to get good with this. We are going to get good. We're going to get good at doing this quick. Are you I handling over there, Nick? I'm gonna Oh god, do I sound stupid to you doing these things or what? Oh, I do, he says. This is the last one that I'm gonna be doing. I don't want to really do a draw for this. I mean, it's easy to understand. If you get the basics of these things done, you won't have any problems with it at all, and if need be, you can contact me and I'll walk you through it. But I am done with this. Oh, this is looking odd. Oh, odd. Oh, those are the greatest critiques of animations ever, when they say it's odd. It looks odd, and then they scoff at you and they walk away with their noses high. Note to those of you who actually care about this animating business. Not that I know of anything about the business, but I'm talking about animating in itself here. you would be well off to learn how to take good criticism and take bad criticism. You'd do very good for yourself if you learn that straight away. No, that's if you have any intention of actually doing animations for fun and releasing them to the wonderful public. Not that I have anything against the public. They've been more than kind to me. In fact, some of them are so kind that you want them to go away and stop bothering you. I sound like a complete idiot on this thing. Oh, I feel horrible after doing this. No, I feel like I've done my civic duty. I've done my part. Come on, do as I say. Do as I say. Oh, well, you know what? Sometimes when you put things like this, it's not good for you. It always comes out bad when you want to put it in game or something. Look at that. We'll fix it later. What I meant by what I just said is that when something's so close like this, it's bad. I mean, well, here, we'll fix this rotation of this hand up. That could clear some space. Why don't we restrict it? Because I like it where it's at right now. You know, I never get these right. I'm always guessing. Okay. Let's get this on here. And then we can move on. Don't rotate your camera like I almost just did. That would be very bad. We'll grip this thing around here in a minute. It's not going to go like you may think, since it's already back. And, you know, since I did this, it's going to be tough to find out what's going on here, which is all the better, because people are going to be, whoa, what's going on here? Why, I don't understand. Can someone explain it to me? What could possibly be happening? Whatever it is, I don't get it, and I don't like it, and I hate it. Come on, courtesy. Let's work for me today. I've done a lot for this thing here. Okay, ignore the dreadful, absolutely sinful movement of the arm back there, the forearm. We're going to fix that, and I promise we'll fix it later. I don't like that float. Ooh, I hate that float. I need to fix that. But oh my God, we're running low on time. What I'm talking here is this bone here. Do you notice that just is wobbling, just without a place to go? You know, the guy you're driving behind is going 20 miles under the speed limit, just driving around the block, nowhere to go. Thought he'd get in his car and drive to the fill in the blank. That's what's happening right here, and I don't like it. And I really can't fix it right now. But I know where I want this to be at 60. And I'll fill in an in between blank there later. This is about where I want it. That's about where I want it. See, I'm sorry if I'm oversimplifying here, and it's like I have no rhyme or reason in my keyframes here. I don't normally do this. I'm animating so ghetto right now. This is all going to come out a little bit odd. But hey, it's the fun of it. Okay, I'm kind of liking this movement of the arm here. I'm going to have to fix it up a little bit. Because right now it's not doing really... It's not... And this back forearm is throwing me off. So don't worry if it's throwing you off too. You don't have to worry about that. And in fact, I'm going to fix that next. I'll just leave it at later, because then I can do it whenever I want. Oh, what a bummer it would be if my microphone wasn't working right now. Have to start over on this thing. Oh, if you couldn't hear me. Yeah, I really don't like that float there. This hand is moving way too quick. See, the best part of having this set up here like this is that you can give it another number. Let's leave it at 50. You can have it ease in there to that. -50. And we're not going to set this here like this. Going to, in fact, this may not even do what I want it to do, and I don't feel like messing with it. Yeah, it clips in there a little bit. We can fix that clipping. It's that recoil. The friendly recoil is now the enemy recoil. All of this doesn't matter at all if the fingers aren't going to do what I ask them to do later. Good, the wobbling. Let me move this here. 5. I shouldn't have done this, by the way, because now it just makes a mess of things. I meant putting those 5 keyframes in there. Really no need to set them like that. But why don't we get this hand going here the way it should be going? Put some studs in there because you don't want these digging up later. Notice, try to get the hand moving with the wrist. The fingers, I mean. The wrist moves at 50, make your fingers move at 50. Everything will sync up nicely. You also have to do that with the, I like that, non-stud. That's good. You also have to do that with the arm. It'll come out 100 times better for you. It's tough to move your arm without moving your wrist when you're doing something like this. Yeah, maybe this scrunching them two together here was to signify that they're a stud or whatever. I don't know. Don't care, to be honest. Why don't we be real easy on me today and just do this again and then go from there? Not that you should do this all the time. It's pretty lazy. But hey, lazy works. Oh man, I hate that. Not very many things to say today. God, what is this doing this for? It knows. It knows that I have no time. And it's doing this, folks. It doesn't want you to see animations. We can't call them on it because that would disenfranchise black voters in Florida. Along with anything else here. Oh, the phone's ringing. Let me get the phone. Hello? Hey. No, what's on it? Oh, is it? Oh, what channel is it on? Okay. Oh. Oh, you don't want to talk to us? Well, that's okay. Hey, no problem. Oh, I'm okay. I'm doing fine. Okay. Yeah, no, he's here. Here you go. It's your mom. Oh boy, that's a good one. What am I doing? Everything's going so slow. Why did I move that? I was distracted. That's my excuse. You can set these up all the way down the way you had them. In fact, I shouldn't have undone that there. If you don't know what I'm doing here, he's going to pull it back just an inch or so, or maybe it wouldn't be an inch, would it? It'd be more of a millimeter. For those of you who are not in the United... Wait a minute, no, a millimeter's metric. Okay, well then I'm sticking with, oh God. Half an inch. Yes, an inch, like I said before. An inch is what we're going to be using here. Something like that. Half an inch. You know what? Doesn't matter. We're going to pull it back just ever so slightly, ever so gently, and let it go. And it's going to default back to its normal position. Like I said before... Oh, I should be quiet. He's on the phone with his mom. As I said before, this gun here is a concept gun, which means somebody made it up. Oh, actually, I was told it was a girl that made it up. Congratulations on that. You did a dandy job. Hopefully I can do you justice by animating. Yeah, but that's going to clip like mad, isn't it? Okay. But anyway, that basically means I can do whatever I want with this thing. Frankly, that's exactly what it means. You can do whatever you want. No one can tell you it's wrong. I think I just moved the camera. Okay, no, I didn't. No one can tell you it's wrong. So, for all I want to do, I could twirl this gun on one finger, and nobody would be able to say a word. Well, they would, but what are they going to do about it? See, it's good to be the animator. You get to make a lot of people mad. Oh, or happy sometimes. Okay, oh my God, it's 45 after. That means it's a quarter till. That means that I don't have much time left. I'm trying to work with my own hands here, the pose that I want to get with this thing. Bummer. Why don't we just be lazy here and default this back to what it was previously. 63. Yeah, that's good enough. It's going to look okay when it goes up to speed, I think. We'll go to 65 instead. Might be a little too quick for that. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to stud this here. Because if this moves, bad things happen. Oh, it's stud. Oh, what if I put it back? Does it still scrunch him? Oh, it doesn't? What if I move it? Oh, maybe it is like a studding little thing, or God only knows. That's way too quick, isn't it? Hey, guess what? I don't care! My roommate's mom's gonna be wondering what I'm yelling at. How am I gonna explain this to her? I better get this set up right before I start doing anything else with it. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? Talking about plans and stuff over there. Secret plans. Probably plans to kill me. Trying to maintain a certain level of silence out of courtesy for my friend. Oh man, that was good. So many weird things happen when you turn off hardware acceleration and go start animating in max on 800 by 600 resolution. Oh man, you wouldn't believe the fun stuff. It's just mind-bendingly cool. Okay, now let's stud this. We'll stud after it too, because that's done for now. The hand ain't moving nowhere. Don't worry about it, ain't moving. So, what is going to be moving, you might ask? Well, let's find out. In fact, the hand may move once, a little bit. Let's establish this right now. Get these fingers exactly the way you want them before this bolt deal is going to get pulled. The way all we have to do is move the bolt. We're good to go. What I'm doing here, instead of just rotating them, is always something useful to do. Rotate them in a way that, since you're only going to be seeing them in the camera view here, hey, do yourself a favor and make it look as good as possible, since this is what you're going to be seeing. If you see a gap in between the fingers you don't like, it looks goofy to you, change it. No one's going to know. Don't worry about that. We'll get some movement in here in a second, otherwise this is going to look pretty odd. We're going to have to eventually wrap this down to where it needs to be. You can't always make it just look nice. Why don't we do it right now? We need to be gripping this deal right here. That's what we're after. I wish I had more time to think things through instead of just doing, but I don't. So we're going to have to bullseye this the first time, or else. I make this own position with my hands, I find that I do it like so. Yeah, well, I don't want to get too picky with it. At the same time, it's got to be on there. phone's getting blown away though, but hey, we'll fix that later. That's my solution to everything, isn't it? See, it would be slightly impossible to do this without entirely clipping anything, but hey, we can come pretty close. In fact, I think that's close enough. What'd your mom have to say, man? Oh, groovy. Hey, she told me. What did she tell you?
Told me about the trick-treating.
Well, that's not too bad. Did she tell you there's like a little spoof on SNL of the debates?
Yeah.
Yep, she told me that too. We can watch it if you want. Yeah, TV's on now. Oh man. That's what I call satisfactory. Study these right now. Gotta run out of time. Let's pull these back slightly. You don't want it to know there's been a pullback, really. Prospero. So why did I do that? It's a good year. That's good enough. Now we're gonna have to move this, link this to this. Let's link this, what am I thinking? I got a better idea. I'm gonna finish this later.